Good morning. The Maryland Public Service Commission's administrative meeting will come to order. Good to see everybody this morning. We have a big announcement this week. We had one last week when we initiated multi-year rate plans for our electric and gas utilities. This week we're happy to announce the launching of a new compliance and enforcement unit, which will be housed in the Consumer Affairs Division. The Commission has noted an uptick recently as we've been more transparent with information regarding retail energy suppliers and the complaints that we've been receiving with respect to some of the deceptive marketing practices and other concerns that have been brought to our attention. We've seen bait and switch, we've seen spoofing of telephone numbers in an effort to get people to choose an electric supplier, which is the policy of the state, but do so with the full information and knowledge of what they're purchasing. So we're going to be taking a look at everything from violation patterns, complaint records, and other audits that we will be conducting using existing personnel here at the agency. Additionally, we'll be educating consumers. We're happy to announce that very soon we'll be launching electric customer choice website, so stay tuned for that. But it's also important that we educate and train our supplier community to our Maryland-specific rules and regulations. We issued a press release yesterday providing some more details, but I'm optimistic that this will help to make our retail supply, our competition for both electric and natural gas, stronger in the long runs as we continue to weed out and root out any business practices. On a closing note, I should mention that this will apply equally both for our regulated utilities and for our retail energy suppliers. So with over 2,700 complaints that were filed amongst utilities and suppliers last year, this will be an ongoing focus and priority for this commission. With that, we have meeting minutes from the February 5th, 2020 meeting. All in favor? The minutes are approved. Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, there's no consent agenda. Item number 1 on the administrative agenda is an application from Mega Energy of Maryland, LLC for a license to supply electricity or electric generation services in the state.
Thank you. Will counsel for Mega Energy Maryland, LLC please approach? Okay, the floor is yours, Ms. Shaw.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Paige Shaw on behalf of staff. The following is an application made by Mega Energy of Maryland, LLC to be an electricity supplier in Maryland. Mega Energy of Maryland is a wholly owned subsidiary of Mega Energy Holdings, LLC. The company has affiliates operating as energy suppliers in Connecticut, Illinois, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Ohio, and Texas. After contacting the Commission in those states, staff was informed of numerous complaints in other states the company operates in. In Texas, Mega Energy had the second most complaints among all electricity suppliers between July 1st, 2019 and December 31st, 2019. The company was also in the top 3 of the most number of complaints among electricity suppliers in Illinois consecutively between March 2019 and August 2019. According to the Illinois Retail Electric Supplier Complaint Scorecard produced by the Illinois Commerce Commission, Mega Energy had a higher than average rate of complaints between December 2018 and February 2019, which then increased to the highest complaint rate between March 2019 and August 2019. Of the markets the company operates in, Mega Energy only gave some explanation to the high complaint levels in Ohio and Texas, and states that Mega Energy has completely changed its internal procedures related to customer inquiries through state-initiated channels. However, staff is concerned about the high level of complaints and is not persuaded that it is in the public interest to approve the application. Therefore, staff recommends the Commission deny the company a license to operate as an electricity supplier in Maryland.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Do we know the status? Are they stuck in traffic?
I hadn't been heard from the company after I told them we were planning to recommend rejection.
And when was that?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, thank you. So they had noticed this was duly posted and noticed that this would be on the commission meeting without them having the ability to respond here or choosing not to. I agree with your recommendation. Thank you. Commissioners, Commissioner O'Donnell.
Thank you. Ms. Shaw, you said that they changed their internal processes or procedures for dealing with consumers. Did they indicate to you what they changed, what the nature of their changes were, if they even applied to the complaints directly or indirectly, or?
No, all they stated was that they had changed the procedures, but there was no.
Yeah, that's another red flag. So, okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, that was one of the questions I had. How large a company is it? They do a lot of they have a lot of presence in a number of states, but is there have you done any kind of scale as far as how many complaints to total customers?
No, I didn't get that information. I
Okay.
figured since they were number 2 in Texas and
Yeah.
numbered between 3, 2, and 1 over several months in Illinois, that it must be a really high rate.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I would have liked to ask the questions directly to the company. I'm disappointed they're not here.
And just to be clear, Ms. Shaw, you're just speculating.
Yes.
Thank you.
speculating on what?
That it's a relatively high rate. Without the company here to respond, I just want to make sure that we characterize that correctly.
Okay. And then I did go and take a look at the scorecard. And it's not in your write-up, but did you ask the question, and it sounded like there were some circumstances in Texas that they point to, but clearly there are a number of other companies that were under those same circumstances. Did they have any explanation as to why in Texas they still, under these circumstances, came out at the bottom of the list?
No, when I had been in contact with the company, I asked overall what happened in every state, and they only gave me the little bit of info on Ohio and Texas, and that was all I
Okay.
received since then.
Okay, well, great, thank you.
Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move we deny the company a license to operate as an electricity supplier in Maryland.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved.
Mr. Chairman, item number 2 consists of revised tariff pages from Potomac Electric Power Company to update service connection fees for certain residential dwellings and certain street lighting provisions.
Okay. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Benjamin Baker on behalf of staff. On December 20th, 2019, PEPCO filed revised tariff pages to update service connection fees for single-family, townhouse, and multiple family dwellings. PEPCO also filed revised tariff sheets to update street lighting overhead and street lighting underground cost native construction charges. Per commission order, when the service connection fees and street lighting cost native construction were previously approved, the company and staff have been working together to determine how the estimated cost used in the fees compare to actual cost. PEPCO and staff believe there is now a system that would allow for the actual for the comparison to occur, but the data for the comparisons will not be usable until the 2020 connection fees and cost native construction fees are set. PEPCO and staff are now working to determine if an improvement in the estimation process can be implemented that will use the actual costs. An error was also discovered while reviewing the application for the removal tariff fee for street lighting underground charges. With this one correction, staff recommends the Commission approve the rates and accept the tariff for filing with an effective date of February 12th, 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Counsel for the utility.
I have nothing to add. We've been working collaboratively with Mr. Baker and his team to streamline the process. We're going to continue to do that after today.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. Any questions?
Just a quick question. Are any of these lights LED lights, these installations, do you know, how does that work? How does that interact with this part of the tariff?
Let me just check with my SME. I'm not certain. I'm told that currently these are not LED lights.
So there's sodium and there are another category is
Yes, sir.
induction.
Yes.
Yes, both of those.
Is there some effort to encourage people to use less
Yes.
energy intensive lights?
Yes, there is. There is effort. We have worked with various communities to install LED lights, and we are working on an LED proposal.
Okay, thank you.
Just one additional question. Good morning. Do you have any current customers that are attempting to have some streetlights connected, removed, etc., that would be impacted by this change?
I don't know the answer to that, Commissioner. Obviously, we're always working with our customers on the streetlight changes, and I know, again, we have various municipalities that are doing various things with both company-owned and streetlights that they own that we serve. But I don't know specifically what impact these changes would have on those customers.
Okay, so I'm thinking about specific projects that a company might have been engaged with the company with to move forward with that project, and then the price changes in the middle of the project being developed. So, are you holding the tariff? You're going to charge the new tariff price in those projects that are still pending, that haven't been completed yet?
Yes, we would follow the tariff on those projects.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. McKeel, I want to follow up, and I appreciate your indulgence, Counselor. The proposal you alluded to, does that deal with empowering communities? I keep hearing you use the word communities, working with communities.
Well, I mean, we have two types of streetlights. Some are owned by communities,
Right.
and some are owned by the company. So a proposal that we would do would be company-owned streetlights. Obviously, we also work with communities because my understanding, like, they may own the pole, but we own the undergrounding stuff, infrastructure up to the poles and hook it up. So, I mean, we have a role to play in all of it.
Right,
It
so,
just depends on the ownership structure.
but these are multifamily and single-family dwellings installations, right?
Yes, that's my understanding.
So will the proposal impact that for LEDs?
I'm not, how do I say this? I'm not certain of the complete contours of the proposal yet.
Fair enough.
Perhaps I've gotten out in front of my headlights a bit.
I'm just trying to distinguish if the company has plans for single-family, for residential type dwellings, whether they're multi-unit or single-family dwellings, to encourage LEDs, but I'll wait and see. We can ask the question when the time is right, I suppose.
I appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Is there a motion?
Excuse me, I was thinking about LEDs. Mr. Chairman, I move the commission accept the tariff revisions for filing with the correction proposed by staff in its comments dated February 5th, 2020, and direct the company to file clean copies of the tariff revisions with an effective date of February 12th, 2020.
All in favor? Aye. The motion is approved.
Mr. Chairman, item number 3 consists of revised tariff pages from Washington Gas Light Company to update discount rates for the purchase of receivables.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Lloyd Spivak for the Commission staff. The Washington Gas Light Company is proposing to revise the discount rates to be charged retail gas suppliers for commodity charges that are sold under COMAR 20.59.05.06. Purchase of receivables discount rates reflect costs incurred by the utility to provide purchase of receivables service to choice customers on behalf of retail suppliers. Consistent with Commission orders on this matter and WGL's tariff, WGL's proposed purchase of receivables discount rates are composed of information technology implementation costs, which represent a credit for residential customers, actual uncollected cost experience, essentially bad debt, net of write-offs from retail customers for the most recent 12-month period, incremental collection costs, and a reconciliation factor designed to true up all over or under collections of these elements except bad debt. WGL has followed Commission precedent by including late payment revenues in its purchase of receivables calculation, and where purchase of receivables discounts are calculated to be negative, has reduced those rates to zero. This has resulted in rates of 0.2098% for the residential class and 0.0% for non-residential customers. Staff has reviewed WGL's filings and recommends that the Commission accept the rates as filed to be effective for the March 2020 billing cycle. However, I do note that Ms. Tuberty has a correction that she needs to make at the moment.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Margaret Tuberty on behalf of staff. I have one correction which does not impact the recommendation nor the discount rate. On page 4 in Table 1, The total proposed annual cost for non-residential customers improperly states that there was a under collection of $423,685. That's reflective of the prior period. For this period, there is a over collection of $83,851, which supports the 0% recommended.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Tuberty. Counsel for the utility.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. John Dodge appearing on behalf of Washington Gas Light Company. Nothing to add, but happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Seeing none, you got off easy. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for item number 3, I move we accept the revised tariff pages for filing effective with the March 2020 billing cycle.
All in favor? The motion is approved. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Commissioners.